Hello guys and welcome to Wolf Nation. My name is Mo and today we watched Death Note episode 3. So last time on Death Note, last episode a lot of stuff happened. We found out that whoever touches the Death Note can actually see Ryuk. At first we were told that whoever Death Note belongs to can only see Ryuk, but it's whoever touches it as well. So Light wanted to keep his family safe, wanted to keep Death Note safe. He pretty much built a safe. This hidden compartment inside of his drawer that can only be opened a certain way, and whoever tries to pry it open will ignite the Death Note into flames. So that was smart on his end. I guess the major storyline was the introduction of L last episode. So we have the ICPO, I believe that's what they're called. I think so. ICPU, I think it's ICPO. They're this organization that's comprised of the major police departments from around the world who are trying to solve what's happening to all the major criminals who are dying from these sudden heart attacks. So no one knows who L is or how he looks, what's his name, where he is. All they know is that he solves every case that he takes on. So I believe he's like this PI. I'm not sure what's his motivations, if he's getting like paid, is it a sense of justice or what? I'm sure we'll find out eventually. But everything's going well, at least in his point of view, because he was able to connect the dots and figure out that Light is actually based in Japan, and then he made this worldwide breaking news, or at least he made it appear that it was worldwide. It was actually just broadcasting in Light's hometown, which I can't remember its name. So he was calling out Light, saying that I'm gonna find you, you're evil, I'm gonna put you down, I'm gonna execute you once I find you. So that had Light blood boiling, and he got pretty upset, and he decided to write down the name that he saw on the screen, which he thought it was Light, Lindell Taylor. But it was actually a criminal that was pretending to be Light. So once the criminal died of heart attack, that's when L figured out that Light doesn't have to actually be present at the location, and that he's actually based in the hometown that he broadcast the news to. So now we have Light versus L. Who will win? No idea. One way to find out. Let's check it out.
Upon further investigation, we have confirmed that information of the heart attack victims was in fact publicly available in Japan immediately prior to their deaths. Also, concerning L's request that we investigate the time of death for each victim, we found that all of them occurred between the hours of 4 p.m. and 2 a.m. on weekdays, local time, with 68% of them occurring between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m.
Making patterns.
Weekends and holidays appear to be the exception to this rule, as the times of death vary much more widely than during.
Now that he knows he's either a student or working.
It suggests that given the times of death, our suspect could very well be a student. Based on the fact that Kira's only killing criminals, I think it's safe to assume that he's driven by a very idealistic notion of justice. It's highly possible he may even aspire to be some sort of godlike figure. We're dealing with an individual who has a very childish concept of right and wrong. Of course, this is mere speculation at this point, but still I recommend you re-examine any assumptions you've made as to whether or not our suspect could be a student.
Helping your sister with her homework, you sure are relaxed.
Of course. If the police try to come after me, I'm pretty confident I've got something that'll give me the advantage. Hey, glad you could join us for dinner.
Oh.
You hungry, Dad?
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Damn. That's his father? Shit.
So, Light, tell me, how are your studies going?
Everything's okay, I guess.
Whatever. He's at the top of his class. My big brother's a genius.
I see. Well, Daddy's a policeman. And that must be the reason why you're so confident.
That's right. It's easy for me to hack into Dad's computer. We're on a home network, so I can copy the files I need without leaving a trace.
Interesting.
This way I can keep track of their investigation. Here we go.
Unless you slip up somehow.
Well, isn't that interesting? Looks like the police are already beginning to suspect a student.
I guess that means you're in trouble.
He's gonna have to step up his game if he doesn't want to be
If
caught.
the cause of death is written within 40 seconds of writing the person's name, it will happen. If the cause of death is not specified, the person will simply die of a heart attack. After writing the cause of death, details of the death should be written in the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds. That sound right to you, Ryuk?
So what's your point?
In other words, if I write heart attack as the cause of death, then I should be able to write down all the details, including time of death afterwards, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
Looks like I'll be able to provide you with more entertainment now.
I get it. So he could write down the time so there wouldn't be a pattern of when the heart attacks would take place. Okay, smart, like.
Inmate 148, what's wrong? Step out of it! I don't believe this. Another 23 victims yesterday? Are these confirmed?
Damn,
Yes.
23.
The day before, there were another 23 victims. He's killing one off every hour on the hour.
Considering that this new pattern has been going on for 2 weekdays,
It does punch some holes in the theory that our suspect is a student.
Maybe not. Anybody can skip 2 days of school.
You're missing the point. It does appear less likely now that Kira's a student, but that's not the message he's sending by doing this. Ask yourselves why every hour, and why are all these victims in prisons where they're sure to be discovered immediately? Why not other criminals like before? I believe Kira is telling us that not only can he kill from a distance, but he can also determine the time of death.
But something's not right. As soon as we began to suspect that Kira might be a student, the pacing of the killings
He's gonna
changed,
figure it out.
as if to contradict that theory. Coincidence? No. Too convenient. This can only mean that Kira has access to police information.
Yeah, he should have waited
It's
a little
obvious
bit.
now. This is a direct challenge to me.
We're gonna see what you look like.
I'd say Hale is probably starting to sweat a little by now. What'll really make his job difficult is that I've deliberately left about 50 criminals alive for times like this. Oh. If L's as good as they say, by now he should be starting to suspect someone with connections to the police.
So Kira has found a way to obtain information from the task force headquarters. This is one fact that cannot be ignored.
Showing them you have connections to the police makes it easier for them to find you than when they just suspected you were a student.
Well, my real agenda is to get close to L so I can eliminate him.
How are you gonna do that?
You still don't understand human beings. In this world, there are very few people who actually trust each other. And it's no different for the police, you know. What's especially important is that L and the investigators don't trust each other at all. Think about it. Could you trust someone whose name and face you don't even know?
Oh,
When L
smart.
discovers that I'm somehow getting confidential information, he'll be obligated to
Try to
start
turn them
investigating
against
the
each
police
other.
to find the source of the leak.
L and
When that
police.
happens, it'll only be a matter of time before the police start resenting L. On the surface, it will appear that L and the investigation team are working together to try to catch me. But in reality, L will
like it.
investigate the police, and they will be investigating L. I'm not the one who's going to find L. I can let the police do that for me.
with all due respect, Chief, we're resigning. We demand that you assign us to a different case. Otherwise, you can have our badges right here and now.
Why? You're good cops.
Isn't it clear? It's because we value our lives, sir.
If what L says is true, Kira has some ESP-like power that somehow allows him to kill people indirectly, from anywhere.
Well, if I were Kira, sir, I'd probably want to try and get rid of the people who are trying to catch me.
Let's face it, he knows he'll be sentenced to death if he's caught.
We all
So you
sat
guys
here and
are
watched when El decided
afraid?
to pull that media stunt and challenge Kira to kill him. Well, it was all very impressive at the time. But then again, El never had to show his face or reveal his name for that matter. I'm
They
sure
are
you
taking
recall
a risk
El's
and
last
El is
request.
not.
He asked that we take a closer look at how these victims' identities were made public, and specifically to determine whether photos of the victims were available to the public prior to their deaths. Well, it turns out he was right. Every single one of those victims' names and photos were broadcast to the Japanese public, and then they died. Unlike some of them, though, we're out there investigating this case wearing police IDs with our names and photos on them. Anybody with a computer can find out who we are.
Kinda your
We don't
job.
hide our faces, we're out in the open.
Sir, the truth is we could be killed by Kira at any time.
For these reasons, we refuse to continue working this case. Excuse us, Chief.
Hey, stop! All of you! Hold it right there!
Apply this concept to our first problem.
We brought the FBI to Japan 4 days ago. They're fully operational. As requested, they're now gathering intel on the police.
And this is the complete list?
Yes.
There are 141 people in the police force who have access to classified information regarding the investigation. I am sure it's somewhere in this list of police officers and the people closest to them. We will find our suspect.
I'll talk, you just listen. If you don't want to hear me, you can plug your ears or something. First of all, I don't have anything against you. I actually think the notebook couldn't have been picked up by a better person. I'm here because I have to stick around till the death note is finished, or I see you die, whichever comes first. But make no mistake,
What do you mean
Mike,
death
I'm
note
not on
finished?
your side or El's side.
Yeah, well, I knew that much already.
You'll never hear me say anything about whether what you're doing is right or wrong. I'm not here to support you or give you my opinion. I'm just a spectator. But as your roommate, I might have a few things to say now and then.
I
What's
like
this
him.
about, Ryuk?
Trying
Why are
to
you
help
telling
him.
me all this stuff now anyway? It's really not like you.
It's just that I'm no ally of yours, or Kira's if you prefer. The only reason I'm gonna tell you this is because personally it's starting to creep me out.
Get to the point already.
Someone's following him.
You're being followed by another human. He's watching me right now.
Is it that guy that's working with L?
It's really starting to get on my nerves. I realize there's no way he can see me. But because I'm always following behind you wherever you go, I feel like I'm constantly being watched.
That's a problem. I'll have to get rid of him as soon as possible. Who would be following me? Does this mean Elle is already starting to suspect the police?
Why would you lead him to your house, though?
Above all, I need my stalker's name. Once I figure that out, I can get rid of him for good.
Light. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. What makes a Shinigami and a human who has a death note different? Well, there are two things. And why do Shinigami have to write the names of humans in their death notes? You got any ideas?
Of course not. Why would I know that? You know, you sure are talkative today.
It's because we are able to take human lifespans for ourselves.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
So wherever
Let's say
he
you have a
kills,
human who is due to live until the age of 60, and a god of death wrote that this person would die at 40. 60 minus 40 equals 20. Now those 20 years taken from someone in the human world are added to that god of death's life. So it means that as long as we don't slack off, even if someone was to shoot us in the head, or stab us in the heart with a knife, a god of death cannot die. On the other hand, no matter how many names you write in your death note, your lifespan will not increase. That is the first difference between gods of death and humans who possess a death note.
okay.
Pretty interesting stuff.
What's the second
The
thing?
second difference between us will probably be of even greater interest to you. Though this has less to do with lengthening life and more to do with cutting it short.
What do you mean cutting it short?
Shinigami can tell what a person's name is by just looking at their face. We know instantly.
Oh.
And do you have any idea why? Because through a Shinigami's eyes, a human's name can be seen above their head. Not only that, we see their lifespan as well.
Shit.
Their name and lifespan?
That's right. I'm able to see your name and lifespan right now.
What's the lifespan?
If I converted that to human time, I could tell you how many years you've got left, but there's no way I'd ever tell you that. I may have a big mouth, but even I wouldn't go that far.
So I tell them at all.
Shinigami never have to worry that they won't be able to kill a person just because they don't know their name. And every time we do take a life, we always know exactly how many years we're going to receive. Our eyes just aren't the same, and that is the difference between you and I.
So can he find out who's the stalker?
If a Shinigami drops his death note and a human picks it up, he can grant that human the eyes of a Shinigami. But only if a deal is made, one that's been with us since ancient times.
Damn.
And what's the deal?
The price for having a Shinigami's eyes is half of that person's remaining lifespan. That's all it is.
Half of my remaining lifespan.
Yeah.
I don't know
In
about
other
that.
words, if you were supposed to live another 50 years, it would be 25. If it was one more year, then 6 months.
I see. And since you've made it clear you're not on anyone's side, and won't help me out, you wouldn't just give me the names of people I wanted to kill. Basically, you're saying that I can't simply borrow your powers. I'd have to pay for them.
That's right. Give me half your remaining lifespan, and I'll give you the Shinigami
Like I said, maybe you only have 1 year.
I'll be able to know everyone's name just by looking at them. If I had that power, the Death Note would only be easier to use.
Hell yeah, but
What'll it be like?
is it worth
Is
it?
it a deal?
Who is that guy? Damn it. Well, okay guys, that was Death Note episode 3. It seems like it just keeps getting better and better. So, where to begin on this one? Well, L, he was starting to figure it out that due to the time of the heart attacks that it must be a student who's actually Kira. So, he decided to investigate the students. Light, we found out that his father is actually, I think, the commissioner of the police force in Japan, which was really interesting. I didn't see that one coming. So Light was able to hack into his father's computer because they're using the same home network, and he was able to find out information that the police force have, and that L is starting to figure out that it was a student. So Light decided to switch it up and started to write down the cause of death as a heart attack, but he put in the time of death as well. But L, he figured out that the reason for the switch up of time of the heart attacks is actually because someone had information from the police force. So he now suspects that someone in the police force is Kira. So he started investigating the police force, and that's actually all what Light wanted actually to begin with, because Light said that if he has L investigating the police force, that's going to cause problems and cause the police force to investigate L, because they're not going to believe that anyone from the police force is actually bad, and they're going to suspect that L just has it out for them, so it's going to have them going against each other, which is pretty smart. Not sure who's following Light. I may have to go back and look at it again. They did show his face at the end. I wonder if it's someone from the police force or someone else altogether, but I have no idea. But anyway, let's get down to the real interesting storyline in this one, or information that we got in this one. So Ryuk, like he said, he's not on Light's side, he's not against him, he's just merely a spectator. But one thing I found interesting, or one of the many things that I found interesting of the things that he said, is he's there until Light dies or until the Death Note is finished, which I don't understand what he means by that. Because I initially thought that with the Death Note, run out of paper or anything like that. You guys said obviously not. So what does he mean by finished? Does he mean once Light is like, yeah, I'm done with it, or something else? So Ryuk, he said that there's two things that differentiate between a god of death and a human being who has control over a Death Note. The first thing is the Shinigami, when he writes down someone's name, he actually takes the difference between the lifespan of when they died and when they would have died. So if they were going to live until they were 70, and he killed them at 50, then they would get that 20 years of difference of lifespan added to their life. So that's how they stay basically immortal unless they stop writing names. So the second thing was the Shinigami can actually see someone's name just by looking at them. Also, they can see their lifespan. So when he was looking at Light and it showed numbers, I wrote down those numbers, 93, 31, 21, 39. I was like, maybe there's a way to figure it out. But he said if he converts it into human hours or human time, then he can tell him, how long he would live. But we have no idea how to do that calculation. So anyways, and I guess the major or the most interesting thing about that is that he can pass on that power or grant that power to Light, but at a cost. Whatever his lifespan is going to be, it would be cut in half, and then he would have that power. So like he said, if he was to live 20 years, it would just be 10 years now. If 1 year, 6 months. So Light, he does seem real interested in the idea, but I'm not sure if I was him if I would take that deal. Well, obviously I don't think I would take that deal anyways, but I'm not sure if he wants to take the deal or not. He does seem like someone who likes to figure out things on his own, but at the same time he does love power, so I don't know. It'll be real interesting if he does take that, because he'd be damn near unstoppable. Because he can see anyone's name and their lifespan. Well, I guess the lifespan is not that important to him, but more of anyone's name. So he can find out who's stalking him, just look at him and write down his name. But I'm not sure if it's worth cutting your life in half. But we'll find out what's his decision gonna be. It's definitely gonna be interesting. As always, guys, hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Till next time, guys. Take it easy.